Greetings.
Hi. And,
Lady Belladonna, nice to see you again. How are you today?
I'm good. Actually, I was just on my way to come visit you. So,
How?
polishing off my armor, and then I was going to make my way down.
I see. Well, in that case, you're always welcome. Do you want me to wait for you, or would you prefer to have
Why
more
don't
time?
you step in for a moment?
Very well, thank you. Oh, this house looks so much nicer when it's dark. I love the red lighting you have here.
Thank you. Yeah, I like the lighting as well. All right, bear with me for a moment.
Very well. Miss Victoria, I am announcing my presence in this house and I respect the boundaries, so please, if you are displeased with my presence, let me know and I shall take as little space as possible.
I don't know what kind of mood Victoria is currently in, but I think I saw her this morning as she was rampaging in the main hall here.
I see.
She was quite quick-witted. She's usually much easier to trick. Oh, there she is.
Oh, she is on duty, I see. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Looks like she claimed Lord Draven's throne.
It does look that way, doesn't it?
Indeed. So I guess you may not have the permission to sit on it, but she definitely does.
Well, you know, she did birth the man after all.
That is
I'm
true.
not about to go in there and argue with her.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. Hello, Miss Victoria. You look lovely. My, what big teeth and wings you have. It's a face only your son could laugh. Forgot about this. Oh boy. That bitch is great. I presume that Lord Draven is currently resting.
Yes, he is. Where did you go?
Still here.
Sorry, it sounded like you were right inside my head.
I see. I apologize. Some patients
Well.
tell me the same thing.
What, that you get into there? I'm not surprised.
Indeed. Must be a coincidence.
Yeah, she certainly seems a lot calmer now, actually, than she did earlier today.
She does. I am so happy to hear that, because I was getting quite worried about your safety when she was around.
It's depends on the day sort of thing, but actually I think today she was a lot angrier at her son than she was at me.
I see. That's the worst thing about this advanced degree of dementia. Some days can get better, but others, you just never know how they will react. Thank you again for bringing me on that little adventure. I definitely enjoyed myself.
Oh, yesterday? To the
Indeed.
Sunken City? I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I am glad that you are slowly forcing me to visit all these places of interest that I never really had time to properly explore.
Yes, my husband tells me all the time that I need to get out more. It's weird. I spent a lot of my life hiding, having to stay in safe compounds.
I see. Apologies. You never really talked much about your life before the transformation. I am curious.
Have I not? I feel like I've mentioned that I used to be a scientist of sorts.
Indeed, I definitely know that, but I guess that never really changed, did it? You still are a scientist.
I'm not sure. Am I?
Well, you still apply the scientific method in problem solving. You still use your available resources to conduct experiments and help out people in need. I would definitely consider you to still be a scientist.
I suppose.
I was more curious about your family.
Oh. There's nothing very interesting about my family. They were rich enough to at least be able to afford a good education.
I see. That's all you can really ask for these days. Apologies for not having the convenient stairs anymore. Recently, we were forced to downsize some of our properties because of certain changes in the number of people that are currently living here.
Yes, I do know all about that. I'll probably have to look into that myself, in fact. Wait, where is your office? I know that's
My office is over there.
Lucille's home. Ah, right.
So, how are you today? Anything exciting happening?
Well, the fact that I'm still a bit my head is still reeling at how calm Tori was, especially in your presence.
I see.
Still reeling about that a little bit.
Don't worry.
But nothing very interesting, I suppose. Revamped my armor a little bit.
I've noticed. Looks very good on you.
Thank you. I also made a few new outfits for my husband as well.
I see. You seem to be very good at anticipating the needs of sudden outfit changes, like yesterday when you provided the swimming pants for me.
I mean, there's just some comfortable shorts I had sitting around the house.
Very well. Would you mind closing the doors, just so we have more privacy?
Oh.
I, of course, do the closing. I just wanted to make sure that you will feel safe here.
Oh, no, by all means. Go ahead, Doctor.
Very well. Thank you. Oh, no. This chair hates me. And I hate it. I need to stretch for a bit, but it shouldn't take long. I'll be right back.
Very.
Why? Why does this always happen to me? With this stupid chair. If you slow walk. Oh yeah, that's probably why it's happening. Thank you, Pifan. I didn't know that. An approach from the side. There we go. There, much better.
Good.
I presume that you are standing on that couch and I'm not just seeing things.
Let me just get comfortable here.
Very well. You definitely look comfortable now. Alright, let's get started. First of all, thank you so much for actually entertaining my idea of coming here and talking to me for a bit.
Of course.
You might be wondering why I ask you for this session. I understand that you're a busy person and I always valued your wisdom and experience. That's why I will just spare you of my usual sugarcoating that I do to my other patients and go straight to the point. I asked you to come here because of Lord Draven. I know that we are neighbors, and I know that we joke a lot about a lot of things, but allow me to put on my big boy psychologist pants for a moment. I understand that you love Lord Draven, you yearned for him, and you've been with him for basically hundreds of years at this point. I can imagine that there must have been a lot of good, but also probably some bad. And I'm simply going to ask you one question, Lady Belladonna. That's all I need. And you don't even have to answer it. But if you do, I want you to be honest with me. Are you happy, Lady Belladonna?
Yes.
I see. You see, it is quite natural for those who get stuck in certain relationships to feel the need to keep on going, even though it can be draining, and instead of compromises and teamwork, it all kind of turns into sacrificing and suffering. It's not too far from certain syndromes where a hostage develops a strong emotional bond with their captor during the period of their captivity. Naturally,
I see.
you always seemed like a dominant and confident person when you were just with me. Yet, when you're with him, even though you retain a certain degree of mischievousness, you also become very submissive, almost like a different person entirely. Have you ever tried to talk to him and try to regain some more control over your relationship with him?
I don't feel like I'm not in control, I suppose.
What if you suddenly decided to place down a fountain that you really liked, and then suddenly Lord Draven would decide that he absolutely hates it, and he would demolish it in front of your eyes without even discussing the merits of it being there? This is just a completely coincidental example of something I have witnessed numerous times with my own eyes.
You know, I didn't like that fountain one bit. In fact, I think him forcing me to keep it up as like a punishment tactic, if you will, probably would have been worse than him taking it down and saying a few coarse words.
Just so you know, Lady Belladonna, this is not some awkward attempt at me trying to get closer with you. This is merely me asking you as a friend if there is... I am just concerned. I understand that you like Lord Draven, and he probably loves you more than I will ever be able to comprehend. But sometimes these relationships can have devastating effects on one of the partners if they are too one-sided. And I just wanted to make sure that everything is okay. And I wanted to let you know that if there is anything I can do for you, any kind of help that you might require, I am here for you.
Are you?
If you ever need to talk to someone, if you ever need to be honest, share your grievances, you know where to find me.
But only if those grievances have to do with my husband.
They don't have to be just with your husband. Of course, your omnipresent mother will always be a factor when you're with him. And,
Mother-in-law.
mother-in-law. And I understand that he, Lord Draven, cannot be fully blamed entirely for his actions. To live with
He
this...
can't be blamed for anything. He has done nothing wrong.
He basically forces you to live with his mother, who killed his father and who hates you. I think that is definitely something that would bring major red flags to most of normal people.
His mother never really did get a chance to know me properly. All she really knows is that I was the reason that he is no longer welcome on the Vampire Council. If that was the only thing that you had to go by. On top of the fact that she's ancient. She has very little humanity left. I mean, she takes out just as much aggression on me and her own son as she does complete strangers. She's more animal than she is vampire anymore.
In that case, it is his responsibility to ensure your safety and safety of himself by relocating her somewhere where she can get the appropriate attention she requires.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that a house of vampires is probably, in these lands, the best option for her. Especially considering, I mean, if a priestess floating in the courtroom was enough to get her thrown into the dungeon, what do you think the realm would do to Victoria?
I can only imagine.
She's safer with us.
But are you safer with her?
As opposed to being with what?
As opposed to not being with her.
That's not an option. You can't just throw your family away.
If the family decides that they want to kill you, then I would say that's a good enough of a reason to let them go, pursue other interests.
Pursue other interests? Do you know what she would be capable of?
I saw what she's capable of. That's why I'm so concerned. I
think we've done a well enough job. I mean, you know, we joke here and there, which I think is fair.
All things considered, but I think that she's safest with us, and everyone else is safer with her with us. I would never abandon anyone of my family.
I see. In that case, I appreciate your sacrifice and the way you are treating your family. I understand that for you it is not a sacrifice, it is simply duty. You take care of your own, and I respect that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I must value the lives of those that, can still be harmed. I don't think she is in the right state of mind to even understand what she's doing. As you said, she's an animal. And when you're dealing with aggressive animals that are literally trying to kill their owners or their roommates, well, something must be done to protect both the animal and the owners.
Would you put the animal down?
I wouldn't.
It's a good answer, Doctor.
I am principally against any kind of capital punishment.
She does not deserve any capital punishment. She is the reason that my husband is in this world.
Of course.
In fact, in a way, she's the reason that I'm in this world.
And I agree. However, in case it ever gets worse, I know certain facilities that might be well equipped to take care of her. You just let me know. I'll send a raven and they'll take care of her. I know it sounds ominous, but she will honestly get the best kind of attention, medical attention that she might require, just so that the rest of her life is as comfortable as possible.
I suppose I'll keep that in mind.
Very well. Thank you, Lady Belladonna, for being so honest with me, and I appreciate your loyalty. This is, again, not an attempt to stir the pot between you, Lord Raven, and his mother. This is merely a friend asking whether everything is alright, and you definitely let me know that everything is quite alright, and I'm glad.
What about your family, Doctor?
I don't have a family anymore.
Neither do I, really. Not of blood, anyways.
Well, you don't need to be blood to be a family.
And you have no one.
No.
Why is that?
I lost someone who was very close to me. But there is an ancient history at this point.
Is it?
Indeed. We all have losses like that in our lives. Dealing with that is never easy. For anyone.
Ancient is an interesting word to choose.
I understand that it can be quite relative, especially when you're talking to other species who can live for basically thousands of years. What about your family? You mentioned that they weren't anything special, but do you still miss them? Even though it's been hundreds of years. Your
I
mother.
suppose I don't put much thought into them anymore.
I see. At
I
some
don't
point,
really see a need to.
I guess at some point the time kind of numbs any kind of separation anxiety and missing them when it's too long.
They were good people.
Was there anything else that they wanted from you apart from having education?
I don't think they thought that I would use my education to fight in a war.
Probably. Do you think they would approve of Lord Raven?
Definitely. Especially my mother.
Do you think he would charm her with his infinite charisma?
Yes, he's very good at that.
That he is. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No. I'm an only child.
I see. High fantasy, not Twilight. What about Lord Draven? Apart from his mother, does he also have any relatives that are either still alive or deceased?
As far as I'm aware, his... No. I believe that he would be the last living one of the pure line blood roses, which is why his mother was so animate about him being another pure blood vampire.
I see. That definitely makes sense in her point of view, why she would overreact so much.
He was a only child.
Why do you think she actually killed his father?
I'm not sure.
He does.
I can't even begin to put any guesses on it, to be honest.
Knowing her, it was probably something very simple, straightforward. Blind rage.
They didn't exactly always see eye to eye. In fact, sometimes I feel like they were exact opposites. And Draven's father, he actually, he liked me. He knew what I was capable of. He liked that there was this fire inside me to want to do whatever it took to stay alive.
I see. Well, in that case, I am sorry for your loss.
I wouldn't say that I was close with them.
Definitely closer than with your mother-in-law.
Yes. I didn't really get to know either of them well.
Well, apparently Lord Draven hated him too. I do wonder why.
I'm not sure.
Probably because he was the only child and he was very spoiled.
Well, whose fault is that? Certainly not Lord Draven's.
Of course not. Nothing can be a fault of Lord Draven. Right?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh, nothing, just thinking out loud.
I got a bit distracted in my head.
I see. Well,
Anyways, I'm not sure. I know that I might be getting it wrong, but I know that one of his parents really wanted him to be part of the Vampire Council, and the other one didn't much care for it.
I see. So I guess for his parents he was an underachiever. They wanted more for him.
I suppose.
But he was content with
Doesn't-
his simple life.
I don't think that this is a simple life at all. In fact, we actually met vampires that were a bit higher up than any other vampires that we had met. In fact, when we first heard of them, we sort of avoided them because we were concerned that they knew about us. But after we realized that that wasn't the case, we felt a little bit more comfortable. In fact, they were also on the run from the council, of sorts.
I see.
Seems like the council themselves, they do a lot of judging and not a lot of evaluating what their people want.
Hmm. Seems like the politics is a bit of a minefield when it comes to vampires, almost as much as in our human society.
Is there a reason that you're not a dukedom, Doctor?
Well, of course there is. Many of them.
Do you think
actually.
you're not worth it?
The worth is irrelevant. I am here for business. And for that, I need to be neutral. If my home of Winterhill became a dukedom, then I couldn't be neutral anymore. And I would lose all the opportunities of establishing any kind of peaceful dialogue between me and the blood mages. I would have to obey the will of the king, and I would have to simply blindly follow his orders and attack the vampires or defend from them whenever he would decide.
Attack the vampires?
The blood
You mean the
mages.
blood mages?
Yes, of course.
Mhm.
But who knows? He might also send me against the vampires if he suddenly caught wind of you, for example, harboring the Dark Priestess again. And I wouldn't want to do that.
I don't think anyone has seen the Dark Priestess in weeks, it feels like now.
Indeed. But yes, those are mostly my reasons. The other ones are that we simply don't have enough people, of course, at this point. It's just me and Mr. Grimwald. I'm sure that it would be quite a lousy dukedom.
What is your relationship with Grimwald, anyways?
He is my janitor, secretary, and receptionist.
I see.
And he offers me cookies from time to time.
And that's all, just cookies.
Yes, just cookies. Do you think that there is more to our relationship? Please,
Sometimes I wonder.
tell me your theory. Shorty.
What happened to Lucille? Doesn't she still live here?
She doesn't live here anymore.
At all.
Her house is still here, and she's always welcome here, but I do believe that she is currently residing elsewhere. For various reasons.
With light.
I believe so.
Because she loves it.
Most likely. In my eyes,
Do you think she's in danger?
Lady Belladonna, no one's truly safe. Everyone is in danger. Some more than others.
Do you think she is a danger?
She has the capacity to be dangerous, but she is currently on an upward trajectory, and I do believe that she's been making a great progress, and I wouldn't consider her to be a danger to herself or society anymore.
Do you think by telling her that she can't hang out with her neighbors is a bit like Stockholm Syndrome?
No.
Or whatever it was that you called it? Oh, so it was just for her own safety.
If you're implying that I explicitly forbid her of visiting you at any point, that was never the case. That was all Duke-like.
I suppose you misinterpret what I'm suggesting. At
Oh,
the beginning of the conversation, you said that you implied that perhaps I have Stockholm Syndrome when it comes to my husband. Because he's, in the beginning of our relationship, he's had to keep me under control.
Yes.
But it's not the same when you do it.
I am a doctor, Lady Belladonna, and Miss Lucille was my patient. And she is currently solved.
So somebody with experience has that capability of telling someone what they can and cannot do.
The thing is, and I appreciate where you're coming from, she was my patient willingly. She could have left at any point. And if I suspected any such reactions of her developing those feelings toward me, then I would immediately stop everything I'm doing and I would focus on the treatment to get her out of that syndrome. It was never my intention to bind her towards me like that at any point. I merely wanted to help her as best as I could, figure out what's troubling her. Same with all my patients.
You see.
Feel free to talk to her. Feel free to ask her. She has no reason to lie. She can tell you everything about our sessions and how I've been treating her. I do appreciate your concern. I do believe that she considers you to be her friend. And I think that's exactly what she needs right now. And that's why I am more than supportive of her and Duke Light's relationship. Because she needs a support, stable structure in her life. She needs to be loved. She needs to have people around her. I unfortunately cannot offer her that anymore. Even though I'm still here
And
for
what do
her.
you need?
I have exactly what I need, Lady Belladonna.
Do you? Which is?
My job.
That's it.
Yes.
Nothing else matters.
My job is my patients. And they are everything to me.
Doesn't sound like a very healthy lifestyle, Doctor.
It is not a lifestyle. It is simply a job. We all have our duties. We all have our chores. This is what I'm good at. This is what people appointed to me of doing. And I'm merely trying to do the best I can with what I have.
I would hope that everybody is.
Could you repeat that, please?
I would hope that everybody is.
I see. Indeed, we all do have our callings in life. Something that gives us purpose. Would you say that for you it's Lord Draven? Or is there something else? Your research, for example.
I don't really feel like I've had any need to work on any more research. I have the things that I've researched already.
Mhm. I guess when you have so much time, you eventually deplete all time constraints. You're not pressed by time.
Yes.
You've exhausted all curiosity from your life. You've already researched everything that was needed to be researched.
Suppose I could try to take up a new interest, but that just seems like work.
I would recommend art. When it comes to creativity, that can not ever be depleted. painting, singing, writing poems. I think that would do you wonders. Maybe even dancing, a physical activity, something that you could continually better yourself at. That will be your homework. Come up with a new hobby for Lady Belladonna. Something that would allow her to work on her potential. Something that would better her life in any way.
I suppose I could try it.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time, Lady Belladonna. This was highly enjoyable for me. I hope that it wasn't too much of a bother for you.
You know, I wasn't quite sure what to expect going into this, but I suppose part of me was half expecting that this was going to be you trying to get out of me what vampires' weaknesses are.
I don't need to know your weaknesses, Lady Belladonna. I would prefer to know your strengths. You see, a true Chad doesn't put people down. He lifts them up.
Interesting.
That's what I do. I try to help people, not to hinder their progress. I prefer to find ways to unlock their potential, so that they can become the best possible versions of themselves.
Wonderful, Doctor. Anyways.
You sound tired. Your yawn said more than 1,000 words could. 1,000 words could. The door is open for you. Thank you so much again for your time. And I'll be...
Do you have to keep working today, Doctor?
Oh, my work never stops.
It stopped. Wait, what's this?
That is a gift from one of my patients, Miss Avery.
I see.
She is very talented.
And
And very kind. And she made also a great progress. Not because
Wasn't
of
she
me.
one of the women that lived here?
Yes, exactly. I do miss her dearly. But she is on to better things in her life, with others. She doesn't need me anymore. Just like Miss Lucille, she also found other people.
And Alina.
And Alina. You see, I work fast.
Grimwald still needs you.
No, I don't think Grimwald needs me. I think Grimwald doesn't know what he wants, and he's stuck with me. It's a parasocial relationship between the two of us.
Can't two people just coexist with each other because they need each other?
Yes, it is possible.
Can't 4 or 5 people feel the same way?
It would be ideal under ideal conditions. But
So
we don't
why did you
always
push all of your friends away?
we don't always have a luxury of ideal conditions, and sometimes things must be done to ensure the safety of my patients.
You think that they're not safe here?
They are, but that wasn't always the case. Some patients find it difficult to coexist with each other.
You see.
And I couldn't take that risk.
Interesting. Well, probably need to make my way to the volcano and gather up some raw ash.
Well, in that case, I'm glad that you have recently been provided with the best possible sickle.
Yes, thank you. Really appreciate it, Doctor.
My pleasure, as always.
You know, I wasn't even thinking. I should have brought over all of the lotus flowers that I've been growing. We could have been having your slave over there work on them.
Indeed, you could have been swimming in money.
Really.
Well, good thing that I'm always around, and I think we have a box in there that you can just fill, and I will know it's from you, and I will simply ensure that that my associate works on your boxes.
Speaking of money, have you been to the market at the castle yet?
I have.
Is that so?
Indeed. I've actually been selling stuff lately.
I hope it's not crates of lotus flowers.
No, it's something better. I've been conducting research.
You've been selling research, is that right?
No, I haven't been selling research. I have been selling money.
You've been selling money.
Yes, for research purposes. I was wondering whether people would be... how they would react to the fact that someone at the marketplace is selling money.
That sounds ridiculous.
Doesn't it? It's delightfully devilish.
Yes, I've had an idea actually of what my house is going to sell.
And what would that be?
I guess you'll have to go and see for yourself.
I guess I will have to. And perhaps finally I can start spending my money on something else than selling it.
Yes. Alright, well, I guess I'll see you later then, Doctor.
I guess, if we're lucky.
Well, I will be dropping by shortly.
Very well. I can't wait.
I know.
Oh, do you?
I can just see your eyes light up every time you see me.
Yes, I do that. I do apologize.
It's alright, you get used to it.
Indeed. Must be hard being a vampire.
Oh, it's... I mean, you know, it starts off a bit rocky, but afterwards
You get
it's
used
fun
to
in
the
games.
attention.
Sure.
Well, if that ever becomes a problem, let me know and I will contact my therapist and I will discuss it with him.
I'll keep that in mind, Doctor.
Very well. Safe travels.
Be safe.
Perhaps I'll start spending my money on something else other than selling it. Yes. M9? Alright, that was fun. It actually took way longer than I anticipated. I basically just wanted to ask her, you know, whether she feels like she's abused by M9. And of course, I thought that I predicted that she would be defending him, you know, as a proper Stockholm Syndrome victim. She would never admit that either she has a problem or that he is actually mistreating her in any way. But she was smart about it and she did good. And I don't think there is a chance for us to get through her. But at least she knows, and at least we showed professional support. And if he ever gets out of line, well, at least we know that she will seek us out for any kind of safe haven or asylum. You dig? She's been willingly, I know. But I want to make sure that if things change, you know, she has someone to rebound with. And this has nothing to do with like a romantic interest. This is just simply Jonathan, you know, doing his work and actually, you know, seeing a potential for any kind of mistreatment. Because he witnessed multiple times that he was quite rude to her and quite mean, you know? And he's like, let me at least make sure that she is actually doing this willingly and not because she doesn't have any other choice.